Hello, welcome to Virtual Robots Revolt. My name is Billy. Today I would like to talk to you about my top 5 3D Blu-rays that I would recommend to people. Either they just got a new projector and they want to watch some 3D Blu-rays, or they have like the new Oculus Quest or what have you, VR or projectors, 3D televisions. There's a number of different ways, PSVR, I think another one. There's a number of different ways to view 3D Blu-rays. And today I'd like to recommend 5 of my favorite 3D Blu-rays. Pretty much this whole collection right here to here, basically, they're all 3D Blu-rays that I've been collecting. Some of them back when 3D Blu-rays were still a thing, still popular. They're still around, but mostly in Europe. So I've been collecting some of them since the early 2010s, and a lot of them, most of them, I've gotten in the last couple of years, especially when I started realizing how to rip them myself onto the computer, and then I got back into my projector, which can play them, so on and so forth. So anyway, I would like to start off with, in no particular order, this is a movie that I believe usually gets overlooked. Most people mention Doctor Strange when talking about 3D Blu-rays in the MCU universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The newer ones, they seem to have like Infinity War and Endgame. For some reason, they just didn't do as good of a job as some of the other solo movies did, in terms of like aspect ratio changes and other 3D gimmicks, as people call them. But the one I believe did a fantastic job that doesn't get enough credit is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is thankfully a very easy one to find as well. Doctor Strange, I believe you can only import. You have to import it. Now it is region free, so if you do have to import it, you can pretty much buy it pretty easily off of Amazon. You're not going to find it in like in store, but if you want to, you can do that, and I highly recommend it because that's also another fantastic movie. I really had to think long and hard. Do I want to say Doctor Strange or Guardians of the Galaxy? And it really could go either way, but Guardians of the Galaxy in 3D, I think it's heavily overlooked. It's probably, on first watch, you might think Doctor Strange might be better, but on second watch of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think you'll start to realize, no, wait a minute, I think this movie might even be better in terms of 3D. Also, I think it's a better movie in general, but that's another story. But it's, I highly recommend it. There's a few things going on in this movie. There is some frame breaking elements, so you'll sometimes see the letter bars, and sometimes you will see things peeking over that, or things flying over it. That's an effect that I really like. Now, they only do it, I believe, 2 or 3 times in the movie, maybe more, but it's not immersive breaking, and I think it's cool. And of course they also have their big IMAX aspect ratio changes, which I think is really sweet. Whenever movies do that, I really love it. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is one. This is a big personal favorite of mine, that thankfully, another one you can find almost anywhere. You can almost even find this at a pawn shop if you want. It's so easy to find in 3D. A little bit harder these days because almost everyone's been clearing them out, but I would also highly recommend Life of Pi. This is based on a book that came out, I have no idea how much, like maybe like 20 or 30 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's based off a book, and it's kind of a spiritual movie. It's a spiritual movie, and it's loaded with tons of 3D cool elements, tons of frame breaking elements in terms of things flying over like those letter screen bars. There is some very cool aspect ratio changes in this 3D Blu-ray that are even, they even go above and beyond some other movies. I don't want to give anything away, really. I've already maybe gave them away a little bit more than I probably should, but it's a fantastic movie. I loved it. It's a very good movie. Even if you don't watch 3D Blu-rays, I would actually highly recommend watching this movie in general if you haven't already. Life of Pi is a fantastic one. And if you want to rip this to your computer, that is a little bit trickier in other movies, because I won't go into it, but I will put links down below on video on this one and how to rip them. Yeah. Anyway, my next one is a movie that you wouldn't believe should be mentioned first over all these other movies that were done in 3D with 3D cameras, or done modern day when 3D Blu-rays was considered a thing. Of course, 3D technology has been around for over 100 years, but in terms of 3D Blu-rays, this was done way after the movie was done a long time ago, and has been since post-converted. There's 2 or 3 movies like this, and this movie is Jurassic Park in 3D. Yes, I highly recommend this movie. It's a shame that it wasn't also, that we don't have a Dolby Atmos or DTS:X sound with it, but it does claim as high-def 7.1 surround sound. So hopefully one day they will add in an Atmos track or DTS:X, and then you could just, play this one at the same time as the other TV that's playing the Atmos track. That's what I have to do a lot. I can go into that another day, but anyway, so the 3D in this movie is fantastic. Of course, some parts where, it's just people, I believe those elements still look kind of flat, but when the dinosaurs are coming through, you would be surprised. You would be surprised that it looks as good as it does, especially with it being done to an older movie. Like, seeing this movie makes me wish that 3D Blu-rays really took off even more so, because I would have loved to have seen the original Alien in 3D, and the original Star Wars in 3D, and so on and so forth, because this movie did a fantastic job in post-converting it. But yeah, I highly recommend this movie. On riff tracks, you could even play it alongside their Just the Jokes version of them riffing on this movie. So the Mystery Science Theater guys, they recorded a whole audio commentary to this movie along with Weird Al Yankovic. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the best one they've ever done, but whenever I watch this movie, I usually have to turn that audio commentary on, because it's like, come on, it's like I would much rather watch this movie with Weird Al and the Mystery Science Theater guys making fun of it in the background, but it's a fantastic movie. And the next one I have to talk about is something that a lot of modern day movie enthusiasts in general right now, and people around my age, and they just love to hate on all things Disney right now, and a lot of times rightfully so, but in my opinion, I do love what they've done with the new Star Wars movies, and this one was one of the best ones they did, which is The Force Awakens. So The Force Awakens in 3D is hands down one of the best 3D movies you'll ever see in your whole life. The 3D in this movie is fantastic. If you ever watch this movie in 3D in VR, it's even crazier in terms of how immersive it is. Of course, it's great watching on a 3D TV. Well, I don't have a 3D TV, but on a 3D projector, it's very nice there. But some movies where they really took advantage of the stereoscopic lens and really wanted to get the most amount of pop out as possible, I want to say you will feel that effect more when you are wearing an entire VR headset over your face. If you are wearing one of these, those pop outs will look even better in VR. And I have a new 4K 3D projector. Well, the 3D is in 1080p, but I have a really nice projector. It's not top of the line, but it's 4K. At least no 3D movie is in 4K, but yeah. So it's, if you can, I would recommend watching this movie, ripping it, or finding it in other ways, and watching it in 3D. In VR, but if you can't, watching it on a projector is fantastic still. I really love how they had such a nice box for this and everything. I remember when this movie came out, the 3D version of it, I was already, at that point, I just got out of 3D Blu-rays again, and I was all excited for 4Ks, and 4Ks are great. I love 4K, but I was actually kind of mad when I saw this, because Disney hadn't done any Star Wars stuff really in 4K yet. And I was just like, why can't I have this movie in 4K? It doesn't make sense. Why are we getting 3D again? 3D is basically out. But anyway, so I came to my senses later and gave this a shot, and I'm glad I did, because the 3D on this movie is fantastic. Say what you want about the movie itself, but I think, most everybody these days loves to say, oh, I hated the new sequel trilogy from the start. I really never liked Force Awakens. Whatever. I refuse to believe that you saw The Force Awakens and immediately said it's bad. Some people, of course, said it's kind of a copycat of the original, but almost everybody thought it was good from when they first saw it. So that's one of my suggestions. And last but not least, not certainly least for sure, this movie, I was very much, I didn't see it in the trailers at all when it first came out, and I'm a big monster fan, and Godzilla is my favorite and all that stuff, and I almost had Godzilla on this list, but I took it out because I just had to take off the rose-tinted glasses. The Godzilla 3D movies are fantastic, very good, and especially in sound, especially the newest one. The 3D, though, is just a little bit too not what I want in a 3D Blu-ray. I love things that use more stereoscopic vision, and this movie, Pacific Rim, the original one in 3D, was fantastic in that regard. It had some of the best 3D pop-outs you'll ever see. If you rip this onto a computer and watch it in VR, you will actually notice how much detail they put into this, because if you rip this onto a computer with all your details, like above grade or anything, or even if you don't, and you compare it to all the other 3D Blu-rays that you have, this one is so much bigger in file size, because there's so much data on this 3D Blu-ray in terms of the 3D stereoscopic vision, and it shows big time. So when I put this on with my VR headset, if I put this on and I play it from the very beginning, when you see a giant monster walking over a bridge, and you see all the dust in front of it, it's like the monster is popped out of the vision, the dust is popped out of the vision, like almost everything is in front of the screen, not like not depth in the background, like almost all of it feels like it's right in front of the screen, like surrounding you almost. And that's really like what I find the best 3D Blu-rays, in my opinion, are the ones that really take advantage of the 3D Blu-ray. Godzilla is a little bit, King of the Monsters is a little bit more, it if you have a Nintendo 3DS, like there's some games that you could set the 3D setting to be like embossed or like inward or convex or concave. So this feels like convex. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. So it feels like it's coming out at you versus like you could reach your hand into the screen. Like this feels like it's coming towards you. That's how I feel about this movie. And it's actually just a fantastic movie in general. Even 2D, I even have it, and just regular 4K here too. I got this after the fact because I just think it's a really good movie. So yeah, those are my top 5 picks. I'll go over them again. They were Guardians of the Galaxy, Life of Pi, not in order now, Pacific Rim 3D, Star Wars Force Awakens 3D, and Jurassic Park 3D. So, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. I will be uploading more videos on a weekly basis, and thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks.